Hi you guys! So I'm making this video to share tips on how you can communicate with deceased loved ones. So we love a soul very much. It happens to be our mom or our dad, our grandmas, grandpas, our best friends, our lovers. And they pass away. And now we feel heartbroken. We're struggling to transition ourselves, moving on from the loss. The love was so treasured that it feels like life is missing something without their soul there, or their guidance, or their smile, or their humor, or whatever that aspect was that enriched your life. So they've crossed over, and you're wanting deeply within your heart to make a connection with them. Now, I did a video where I talk about life after death, what happens after you die. And that video was really focused on all of my experiences related to the infinite soul journey and how extraordinary that is, how complex that is, how many timelines are associated with that, how many versions of a soul there are going on simultaneously. And we're living in a world here where we're just one soul, and then we cross over, we go to heaven, and then we take the time, either A, we stay in heaven for all eternity, because let's not even think about we go to hell for all eternity. Let's not even go there. We stay in heaven for all eternity. That's one theory, right? Another theory is we go to heaven, we speak to our guides, our friends, etc. We take a long time to sort of figure out the next lifetime, and then slowly we gravitate into that. And I'm telling you, stuff is like this. In our human world, the spirit realm is like so ridiculously fast or so ridiculously slow. It can be anything. It can be huge and it could be really small. Your soul could be so small you can't even see it, or it could be as massive as a universe. And I find that souls are extraordinary things because souls are walking universes. Like you as a person, you are a walking universe. That means planets, stars, infinite numbers of soulmates, souls that you incarnate would not like, and souls that you incarnate and you love. And then on some other timeline, it's vice versa. But everybody walking around in this world, we act like human beings, but we're really universes walking around, or we're extraordinary gods and goddesses incarnate. And so as human beings, we feel sorrow, we feel loss, we experience a finite version of the infinite truth. And the finite version makes it a lot harder for us to deal with the day-to-day struggles. Losing a loved one could be a lifetime learning of learning how acceptance and letting go and rekindling the love. And I'm telling you, suicide is one of the hardest to work through, because it's oftentimes, a parent-child relationship, and it's really misunderstood. Like, we didn't know that they were feeling that way, and the next thing you know, they're not with us anymore, and it's tragic, and it's hard to move on, and it's confusing. And so there's different levels of what the soul can go through, incarnate, the difficult traumatic decisions the soul can make, and then what can happen after that experience in the soul learning. And the timelines, I'm telling you, are unbelievable. And so either way, it doesn't matter. In that video, I talk about life after death. It doesn't matter if the soul dies in trauma or the soul does not die in trauma. You can still communicate with the soul. The soul is still you're still able to infinitely connect with that soul. And so I'm just going to pause for a moment. I'm going to work with my spirit guides here. Let me just feel the connection. Because I want to share tips and advice on how to feel that connection, okay? So we're going to clear our minds out of the way that this loved one might have died, okay? We're just going to clear our minds, because the truth is, it's all about love, okay? Connection is about love. It's not about thinking. It's not about thought. The logical mind, it's not about that. It's about the way things feel. So we feel an emotional connection, right? We feel an emotional longing to reconnect. We feel emotional hurt sometimes, depending on how the death was and how extremely affected we were by that. Negatively or positively, like, they died in their sleep, but I still miss them. That's kind of a positive death scenario, or, anything. Murder is a little bit more traumatizing. All right, so So you have your heart open, okay? And all you do is you feel the love, all right? You experience the love within your heart, the love that you have for this soul, okay? This soul, you have love for this soul. You have a connection with this soul. Now the soul is already there, bam. The soul already is connected to you, is already hearing you through the frequency of love. And the frequency of love can include sorrow as well. And they hear that and they actually experience that. They experience everything that you're feeling right now. So we're going to go ahead and stay there with this moment here, because right now you too are opening your heart and you're choosing to identify with somebody who really means a lot to you, okay? Who you really love a lot. You're identifying with this person, you're feeling your heart is open and you're in an open communication, and it is safe because it's love. Now it's your turn to start sharing a message, okay? One way, this is a beginner's way, is just simply to talk, okay? Just talk about how much you love them and how much you miss them. And just share from the heart, just talk from the heart, okay? They're listening to you right now as you speak. And they're receiving it within the heart of their own soul, within their own infinite universe, which is so extraordinarily electrically charged by this conversation right now, that you are choosing to have. This isn't you just sitting there praying and hoping they hear you. No, they already are listening. They already are receiving the message. You're already sharing it, okay? They can't not hear you, just so you know. There's nowhere in an infinite universe that they can't not hear you. Yeah. They can hear you everywhere. No matter where they are, they can hear you and receive you. And this is how I, as a spiritual healer, I can go into any nook and cranny and go find these souls, whether they're in a place of they're still enduring the trauma of the death or whatever it might be, or they're just in a state of evanescent, like the emanating like light or whatever. So I can go anywhere and share a message and do energy work and healing, because love is universal. I mean, it is the universal language. It's not math, it's love. Love is the universal language. Okay. So you're sharing your message. A side tip that can make it even more extraordinary is you could create a space in your own imagination, but it's not this imagination, it's your heart that is imagining it, okay? Your heart is experiencing a space. You could even ask your heart, I would really like to talk to, my best friend that passed away. And heart, what would be a really great place where I could actually visit with them in like a space? Your heart says, I know that one place, that one time where we had that really good memory. I want you to go into that memory and actually sit down. It was at the amusement park, or it was at the, this cabana place, or it was at the beach or whatever. It was at the mountains. So now your heart is remembering, helping you to remember a really wonderful time, a place. And so this place starts to open up inside your heart. And you're stepping into this place and you're feeling the vibration. And now you see the loved one is sitting on the towel next to you, is sitting at the bar stool, is sitting, at the roller coaster ride at the very peak before it goes down the most crazy, like steepest ever roller coaster slide part ever. So like wherever it is, but you see them, you know what they look like. And so now you see them and they're sitting there with you, okay? So this is a step up from where we just were. It's just simply communicating. It's just simply connecting the heart, feeling the love, and then communicating. Now this is a step up because we're creating a space, an actual place where you can experience them even visually. And this is all taking place within your heart, okay? So now you're in this place and you're bawling your eyes out because they're sitting right there, and you remember them, and it's really emotionally intense and you just can't stop crying. And now what's the first thing that comes to your heart? You can also welcome them to hug you. You can hug them. You can cry, you can say, blurt something random out that's just like, I loved you, and then you went away and I didn't know what to do. You can say that. You can really get emotionally into this, because you got to heal too. And also when you heal, they also heal, because they don't want you to be in pain and suffering. No soul wants any other soul to be in pain and suffering. A lot of the times we will take on the burden so that you don't have to. A lot of us are like that. And so even our loved ones, they don't want to see us sad. They want to see us happy and at peace. And so they can feel our sorrows. So they want to help us heal too. So we can move on and find new reflections of love in our lives. Because love isn't just about them. Love is about all of us. Love is about everybody. And you're not going to have new love experiences until you truly move on from the deceased loved one. So you're letting it gush out. You're just letting it gush out. And once it's all gushed out, and you might be blowing your nose and crying streams of tears for a half hour, a good half hour, you can't even really say anything else but cry. And if that's all you can do, and you feel like you can't really access the space again or the memory, that's all you could do this time, then that's okay. That's complete. When I do connections in my own time, like we're talking 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half hour, no more than an hour of doing like energy work or communication with the spirit realm. Because as a human being, I just don't have my attention span. I mean, I'm like, you try to get a kid involved in something that you could really participate in for hours, and they got 10 minutes on that. 15 minutes, maybe a half hour, and then they're ready to do something else. So even as adults and connecting with the spirit realm, we have time frames as well where we just need, I can't do anymore right now. So then you just accept that's all you needed to do right now, and then come back at another time. And you follow your heart. Maybe it's a few hours later, maybe it's the next day, maybe it's next week. You're ready to revisit it, but go ahead and ask your heart, when the time is right. You say, I really want to reconnect with my dad. The first time I was crying so much, I really want to try this again. Heart, is there a space? Should I go back to the original one? Just ask the heart. Just pause now. Just literally 30 seconds to a minute. You allow the heart to process and then share the inspiration, okay? It's not like your head will just tell you something immediately. Your heart actually takes about 30 seconds to a minute to process and then speak, okay? So your heart is showing you something you've never seen before. And it's bringing you into what is sort of like a cove, the cliffside, and the water is kind of flowing here, but there's something of a sailboat, and it's, got the anchor, and it's very peaceful water, and it's very calm, and there's a fresh breeze. And you don't even know anything about sailboating, but there's something about this image that feels right, that is healing right now, and we don't really know why, but it is. And so you gravitate towards the sailboat, and you just sit there and you experience, okay, for 5 minutes, 10 minutes even. It could be anything though. I mean, you could find yourself in a hot air balloon. You could find yourself tending to sheep on the side of a mountain. You could find yourself in a temple with Buddhist monks and a gong sound. We don't know what it's going to be. You could find yourself in a jungle, or you could find yourself in another very familiar memory. Whatever the heart encourages, okay? And then you gravitate towards that, all right? And when the heart knows that it is time, or that you just simply want it to be time, that's also, it's time, okay? So then you just remember, you bring that image of what they actually looked like to sit down with you in the sailboat. And now they're sitting right there with you, and you're looking into their eyes, and you're receiving information of love from their heart. And they might not be saying anything, but you feel that they are very close. And you take your hand and you touch their hand, and you like grip it because of the meaning. And now this time you're not as emotional, and you say, I miss you. Now you notice they actually smile back at you this time. You notice them smiling back at you. You notice them giving you a hug this time. Actually, them giving you a hug without you even inspiring that to happen. They hug you. And that's all that there is. And this just lasts for a while. And when the hug is over, you may even feel complete again. And like there's really nothing else to say or do. But you may not. You may really need to talk about something. You know, why did you commit suicide? You know, was it me? And then pause. You have the power to receive the answer. It'll always come through your heart, okay? So you pause. And the answer is, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry that I've broken your hearts. I was wrapped up in the pain that I was going through, and I didn't have the strength to talk to you about it. They may show you an echo of a time when they tried to say something, but they couldn't say it, and you kind of sensed it. They may show you something about yourself that was bothering them, and they couldn't tell you, or you weren't hearing it right, or weren't listening. Remember, it's nobody's fault per se. It's like you can't blame yourself for these experiences because the soul makes the choice, right? So now the learning is there for both souls and for all the souls involved. The learning is there, and the learning is beautiful. No matter how bad it hurts, the learning is beautiful. And I'm telling you, lifetimes from the pain and suffering of this huge gashing wound, when that heals, you have no idea the powerful connection that is going to bring your souls together on a level you've never felt a love ever before. And so while we see pain and suffering as so terrible, we actually can't become more deep and diverse lovers without it. We can't become that without it. So we have to actually break down. We have to have calamity. We have to have chaos to break things down. And when things get broken down and they get wounded and they hurt really bad and it takes lifetimes to heal it, we get strong as souls. We get very strong. We get very powerful. We become empowered. We become wise, diverse. Our universes expand. We turn into Christ consciousness figures. Like this is what we become over lifetimes of this. And don't focus on right now and how bad it feels per se. I think it's natural to do that. But know that there is an extraordinary light at the end of this tunnel. And I'm telling you, it's going to be better than it's ever been before. And it's going to be warm, and it's going to be fuzzy, and it's going to be relieving. So this is how you connect with deceased loved ones, inside your heart. But don't be afraid to listen for the message that comes back. And I'm telling you, it's going to take 30 seconds to a minute, and it's not going to come from in here. And so just allow the inspiration to come back to you, and it'll feel like a memory. It'll feel like a song. The song, maybe nothing really came beyond any, maybe it was just really kind of you sharing. But then the next day you're off to work and there's a song that plays, and for some reason you just start bawling your eyes out. There is the message that is coming to you, and it's hitting your heart. And it may not make sense, but it really is interconnected with this choice to heal the sorrow of loss. That's really what it's coming from. So I hope this gives you guys some tips. I've made quite a few videos now, 3 videos, Prince and Whitney Houston really encouraged me to talk about life after death as I experienced as a psychic and spiritual healer. and then with all the beautiful comments I've received, and I mean, we're talking very diverse comments, which could be, you know, this was hard for me to listen to. And this could be, thank you, I am struggling with the pain of loss. Like whatever, there's like a rainbow of comments, and they're all really exceptional for me to read. And they motivate me, inspire me to share a new avenue of messages to just help a little bit more deeply than that other video about life after death would have been able to. So I want to thank you all for your comments and your support of my channel. If any of you do want me to do a psychic session, I have a deceased loved one's actual session that Joseph and I do. So I will share 45 minutes and Joe will share 45 minutes where we'll connect with the deceased loved one. This is really a beneficial session for people who've had deceased loved ones that, you know, passed away in trauma, but we could use it for anything because it's really for healing this deceased loved one's soul and then bringing that healing back into you. Because your souls are so connected, that frequency of bond is really a powerful gift that we can connect to and use that to make huge differences between both of your souls. But then, I mean, soul rebirth journey, Joseph and Abbey journey experience, anything. We can even do energy work for your soul through the pain of loss and choosing acceptance and bringing in channeled messages from your deceased loved one to just talk to you and nurture you and comfort you. So there's a lot of different avenues you can take. If you're interested in exploring a session, please visit me at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. I want to thank you all for watching, and I wish you all a wonderful day.